Hello, I'm Angel Giraldez, and I'm in charge of Vallejo's Fantasy Department. In today's video, I will explain how to paint true metallic metals with the new range of colors, the Shifters. I hope you like it. I will use this Games Workshop miniature to explain how to paint true metallic metal. First thing is to apply the primer. I will use gloss black primer since I will apply the new Shifters colors, and it is strongly recommended to use this primer. I put some paint in the blister, add some water, and stir. The dilution must be perfect. I will use the Infinity CR Plus with a needle size of 0.15 millimeter and the pressure at 1.8 bar. And I apply thin layers. Check out the box, how I press and pull back on the trigger just a very little bit. That's how I apply thin layers.
Shut up and sit down.
Here you can see the final result. I applied 3 or 4 coats. With gold yellow burn orange, I will paint the base color of the armor. I shake the bottle well, put some on the blister, and add some drops of airbrush thinner. When working with a 0.15 millimeter needle, I recommend adding a few drops. But it's up to you. Mix it well to get the perfect dilution. So, I put the color in the airbrush. Check it. And now I'm going to apply thin layers. I tilt the airbrush a little so the paint hits on the upper parts and doesn't cover the recesses. Look in the box. I press the trigger very little and apply thin layers. These new colors, depending on how the light hits them, change tones. This color is both yellow and green, depending on how the light hits. It is highly recommended to apply a coat, let it dry, and then repeat. This way, the color becomes more intense. You can already see how the color changes depending on the light. You see these green and violet tones. The truth is that the new The Shifters colors are great for painting true metallic metal. I repeat more so the color becomes more intense. And here you can see the final result. How it varies in tone depending on the light. Let's highlight it. I will add some drops of gold yellow burn orange from the Shifters range to aluminium from the Model Air range. I also add some drops of airbrush thinner. As you can see, both ranges mix well with each other. That's fine. I will add some more drops so the aluminium has a little more yellow tone and a bit more airbrush thinner. Dilution must be perfect so we won't clog up the airbrush. We check, we see that the dilution is perfect. So, it's time to apply the first highlight. For example, on the shoulder pad, right in the center, to create contrast. We add soft layers. Highlight the upper part of the helmet. Very soft touches in several layers. On the knee pad, too, on the higher parts. Be careful, because if we add too much of the highlight, we will spoil all the previous work. The main characteristic of the new shifters colors is that the tones change depending on how the light hits. So, if we add too much highlighting, then we will spoil all the previous work. So we have to add some certain highlights on the most important parts of the miniature. Notice, in the box, they are light, soft layers. Here you can see the final result, where I highlighted. After that, I re-primed with a brush some parts of the figure, such as the fabrics and the shield, with black from the model color range, so you can see the result better. I will apply tones to the armor with sepia ink and orange from Model Air, and violet from the Game Ink range. I put all the colors on the wet palette. I add a little water to all of the colors. And I will apply tones to the armor using glazes. In this step, we will add more hue to the metallic color and also increase the shadows. This way, we will improve the contrast. As you can see, I rest the paint on the surface, then move it. Very important to let it dry between layers. Apply a layer, let it dry, then repeat. Look closely how I rest the paint and drag it. Glazes must be very soft. If we apply a thick glaze or with a too saturated color, we will cover the color below, and we don't want that. We just want slight passes to barely change the tone a bit. I toy with the colors violet, sepia ink, and orange. For example, violet ink is applied to the deepest areas to create greater contrast there. Then, on higher areas, I use orange to change the tone of the armor a bit more. We don't want to apply too many tones, since gold, yellow, burn orange from the shifters range is the base color, and depending on how the light hits it, the color changes. So only add soft layers with these colors to add even more tones to the armor. You can already see how the armor is changing. Here you can see the final result, how I added tones. Last step, and we have to outline the edges. I mix aluminium from the model air range with gold yellow burn orange from the shifters range. It's not necessary to add any water, since these paints are more fluid than normal. So, mix both colors and outline all of the edges. It is an arduous but necessary process, as we have to define all the armor plates. Notice I load very little paint to be more precise. I also recommend using a thin and sharp brush. Outline everything little by little. By outlining, we will achieve better results on the armor, so I encourage you to do it. You can notice on the foot how we add definition. We outline the edges, and you can see the result. The same on the knee pad. I outline the helmet a bit more. All these points must be outlined too.
Romantic, isn't it?
And here you can see the final result. Any questions you have about this video, you can leave them in the comments. I hope you liked it a lot, and the next video will be very good. Any questions you have about the process, leave it in the comments. I encourage you to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss future videos. See you in the next one.